Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. I wrench the neckline up and my chest still spills. For a second, I think the fabric actually groans in protest. I am Aaron and I am 27 and already regret today. Behind me, the bedroom door clicks shut and my stomach drops. Looking back now, I know that door closing was my warning. Jenna strolls in with her phone raised like a trophy. She stops when she sees my hands clamped over my chest. Her eyebrows lift like I am some late-night comedy act. "You look insane right now, just let the dress sit." My arms shake and my boobs feel like they might bolt. "If I let it sit, my nipples greet your guests," I mutter. The words come out tight and higher than my normal voice. I try to laugh it off, but it sounds frayed and fake. Jenna steps closer and pries my hands away from my body. Cold air hits skin that definitely should not feel air today. It is supposed to be daring, that is the whole vibe. She smooths the neckline down instead of up and I flinch. My cleavage surges forward like it has its own evil plan. "You wanted to feel confident, remember our little talk." I remember begging for comfortable and hearing confident instead somehow. This is not confidence, this is a workplace harassment lawsuit waiting. I tug the side seam and feel the stitches strain near my ribs. Every breath pushes the top lower and my heart starts pounding harder. I angle myself from her and from the mirror in the corner. Even I cannot pretend this looks like an accident of tailoring. Jenna sighs like I am a child refusing to share toys. "We already altered it twice," the tailor nearly cried last time. She reaches behind me and yanks the zipper fully to the top. The back digs into my skin and I bite down on nothing. Somewhere under all that pressure, my common sense just taps out. I can grab my black dress, the simple one from last month. I gesture toward my closet and actually take one step away. Her arm shoots out and blocks me with that bridal force field. "Absolutely not, you are a bridesmaid, not a random +1. The way she spits random makes me feel cheaper than the dress. I try another angle because that is what I do with her. What if I bend during the ceremony and this thing explodes? I fold forward a little and the neckline slides almost an inch. For a split second I see Ariela and my whole body locks. Jenna snorts and grabs the fabric before full disaster hits the floor. "Relax, your little lulu melons are staying right where they belong." She says it lightly and taps the top of my chest like a table. The nickname hits me harder than the tap and my face burns. I manage a weak laugh because that is my survival reflex with her. Now writing this, that laugh feels like I handed her the knife. She lifts her phone and snaps a picture before I can move. I hear the shutter sound and feel my stomach twist around itself. "See, you look amazing, bridesmaid of the year right there." She turns the screen toward me and my eyes go straight lower. I barely register my own face because everything else screams first. I raise my arms to cover up and the neckline plunges further. The motion pulls the fabric down and my chest surges upward again. I drop my arms fast like they are the problem, not the design. Jenna rolls her eyes and reaches into a small makeup bag on the dresser. She pulls out double-sided tape like this is a craft project. "Hold still, drama queen, this is why God invented fashion tape." She peels strips and presses them along the inside edge with focus. The tape tugs my skin when she lifts the neckline back into place. Her fingers push the fabric down onto my chest like she is sealing mail. I stare straight ahead and feel myself disappear under her version of helpful. When she steps back, the dress still shows more than I usually do. Only now everything feels glued and locked and harder to escape. "Jump," she says like this is a fitness test, not basic decency. I give a half-hearted hop and the bodice barely budges anyway. The only thing that moves is my fear, shifting from maybe to definitely. A knock lands on the door and my mom peeks her head in. Her eyes slide from my face down to the neckline, then stick there. She presses her lips together and that alone says about 50 sentences. Jenna beams and spreads her arms like she just unveiled artwork. "Tell her she looks stunning, I am actually proud of this one." Mom hesitates for a long second that feels like an entire season. "You look very grown up," she says, choosing every word like a minefield. She avoids saying anything about coverage, and that hurts in its own way. I search her face for backup and only find complicated silence waiting. I realize I am not getting rescue from either side of this room. We are late already, the limo is probably outside with the engine on. Jenna glances at her phone and taps the screen like it offended her. Hair and makeup took forever, we have zero time for another Chris. She grabs my clutch from the chair and hooks it over my wrist. The strap feels like a cuff, and I know she is not letting go. I try one last small act of rebellion and reach for a wrap. Jenna beats me to it and lifts it out of reach with a smirk. No cover-ups, the whole palette will look off in the photos. Her tone makes it sound like a crime against interior design somehow. I drop my arm and feel my chance to soften this disappear. We start toward the door and the shoes bite with every step. Each stride shifts the bodice just enough to remind me of gravity. I keep my shoulders pulled back because slouching makes everything worse again. My breath stays shallow since deep breaths risk a full reveal incident. Somewhere under all that tension, I still whisper that I might be overreacting. In the hallway, my cousin passes and does a quick double take. His gaze flicks down then back up, and he pretends nothing happened. Heat blasts up my neck and I cross my arms on instinct. The neckline instantly fights me and crushes my chest even higher. I uncross fast because I would rather feel watched than completely trapped. At the top of the stairs, Jenna stops and checks me like inventory. She tugs one strap tighter and fluffs my hair away from my shoulders. Smile like you are thrilled, this is the happiest day of my life. Her eyes are hard while her mouth stretches into that practiced grin. I smile back because I do not know how to wreck weddings. We walk down together and every step feels like a countdown ticking. I picture relatives staring and cameras flashing and my body pinned forever. Jenna talks about timelines and seating charts and how important photos are. Her voice turns into background noise while I watch my reflection glide past. I already feel like the dress owns me, and we have not left yet. At the front door, she squeezes my hand without looking at my face. You are going to be the pretty one in half these pictures. She says it like a gift, but it lands like a threat anyway. The handle turns and bright daylight washes over the hallway in a rush. That is the moment I step outside and have no idea I am walking straight into a disaster built around my body. The car door opens and cold air hits the top of me. I swing my legs out, the bodice tugs downward like it wants freedom. The driver looks straight ahead a little too intensely for a normal greeting. Jenna slips out after me and nudges my elbow toward the walkway. I force my spine straight and pray the tape remembers its job. Guests move toward the entrance in little clumps of laughter and perfume. A guy in a suit glances down for half a second then away. That tiny flick is enough to make my lungs misfire in my chest. I hook a thumb under the edge and push everything higher again. Jenna brushes my hand off like I am messing with her centerpieces. Hands off the neckline, you will wrinkle it before we even start. Her voice sounds bright, but there is steel under every syllable. I swallow whatever comeback is forming and focus on my footsteps instead. Every step sends a small shock through the glued fabric and my skin. If the tape lets go here, I am exposed in front of strangers. Inside the foyer, the wedding coordinator herds bridesmaids toward a side room. She runs her eyes along the line and stops a beat on me. Beautiful, she says, but her gaze drops for one extra second lower. I cross my arms out of reflex and feel everything press upward harder. Her eyebrows twitch as if she is debating whether to comment and stop. We line up for the processional and my heartbeat syncs with the music test. The groomsmen arrive in a row and take their places across from us. One of them gives me a quick grin that lands right on my chest. I pretend not to notice and stare at the doors like they might save me. My palms sweat so much my bouquet stem feels slippery against my skin. Remember, shoulders back, nice posture, no fidgeting. The coordinator moves down the line, tugging skirts and straightening ties. When she reaches me, she lifts my shoulders with both hands and holds. The neckline shifts another fraction and bare skin pulses in the open air. I hear a faint pop from the tape and my stomach clenches hard. Music starts for real and the first pair begins the walk down. Every eyes on them moment means my own moment is creeping closer stepwise. Jenna turns and gives me that bridal grin that demands cooperation now. Smile big, you look killer, she whispers, like that is comfort, not pressure. I manage a tiny laugh that feels exactly like signing a bad contract. My turn arrives and the doors swing wider and the room stretches long. Rows of relatives rise and pivot toward the aisle like a slow wave. I take one step and feel the bodice drag against my ribs with friction. The tape holds but bites, sending a sharp sting across my skin. I keep moving because stopping here would be worse than any wardrobe accident. I inch. Halfway down I catch my uncle's expression and it is pure wide eyes. His jaw tightens and he looks away like he just touched a hot stove. That microsecond tells me more about my outfit than any compliment ever could. I straighten my chin toward the altar and pretend I did not see it. Inside, though, a small voice says this is already out of control. At the front we split and form two lines flanking the couple's space. I find my mark and freeze there with my toes just over the tape. The officiant clears his throat and glances once at the bridesmaid row. His gaze skips over me fast, almost deliberately, like I am radioactive. I lock my knees and fight the urge to hunch over my own chest. The ceremony begins and everyone else melts into some dreamy emotional mood. I only track three things: my breathing, the pressure, and gravity. Every time I inhale fully, the top drags a little toward the floor. Each exhale, I try to sneak a half-millimeter upward adjustment. My fingers barely brush fabric before I force them back to my sides. A faint cough comes from the guest section right after one small shift. Then I hear a whispered "oh wow" floating from somewhere behind my shoulder. I do not turn because I already know they mean me, not the flowers. Heat creeps up my neck and settles behind my ears with a rush. I stare at the groom's tie just to keep my eyes from glassing over. In the middle of the vows, the photographer slides into my peripheral vision. He crouches near the aisle and lifts the camera for a tighter frame. The lens points straight across at our row, which includes my upper body. Instinctively, I angle half an inch away and drop my chin as a shield. Behind me, Jenna's hand lands on my elbow and squeezes until I shift back. "Hold still, perfect line," she mutters through clenched teeth and a smile. To anyone else it probably looks affectionate, like a sisterly encouragement. My arm throbs under her nails while the shutter clicks in quick bursts. I imagine each photo trapping this neckline forever from every possible angle. I almost laugh because the word perfect has never felt that backwards. When the ring exchange finishes, we bow our heads for a short prayer. I tilt down slightly and feel the glued edge pull from my skin. It is so small, just a tiny release, but I feel air slip in. My heart rate spikes and I jerk upright faster than everyone around me. The officiant pauses and I swear he darts me a puzzled look. They are pronounced married and everyone erupts into applause and cheers. We turn toward the center as the couple makes their way down. I clap with careful, tiny movements so nothing shifts more than necessary. A cousin whistles and I feel his stare sweep across the bridesmaid line. I keep my face neutral, but inside I am wondering exactly what he saw. As soon as the newlyweds exit, the coordinator waves us toward a side door. Family photos fast, then we release everyone to the reception. The word photos lands like a bucket of ice on my already frazzled nerves. I tug at the bodice again and feel another sting where tape meets sweat. For a second I consider running to the bathroom and ripping everything off. Instead, I get pulled along into a garden area behind the building. The photographer is already there arranging stools and barking gentle instructions. He positions the couple first, then starts placing parents and siblings around them. When he looks at me, his eyes light up like he spotted free content. Bridesmaid in the deep neckline, front row center, turned toward me. My whole body goes hot and cold at the same time hearing that line. A few relatives chuckle and one aunt murmurs something I cannot fully catch. Jenna claps her hands and gestures me forward like this was the plan. I step into the front cluster and try to angle my shoulders sideways. The photographer frowns and touches my elbow to twist me more toward him. "Chin up, shoulders open, there you go, gorgeous." His hands leave quick, but the pose traps me facing straight on. I can feel the fabric stretch tight across skin that used to be private. People shift behind us and I sense eyes dropping down then snapping up. My smile locks in place while everything inside me wants to fold inward. On 3 big happy faces. He counts and I drag my mouth upward as far as it will go. The next thing I hear is the rapid burst of several shots in a row. I wonder which frame will be the one everyone forwards to group chats. My ribs ache from holding this exact position that feels engineered for humiliation. We rotate groups so cousins join, then grandparents, then college friends. Every time there is a new configuration, he keeps me in front somewhere. If I shift half an inch, he corrects me with a little joke. Don't hide that dress, the bride picked it for a reason. Laughter follows, and none of it feels like it belongs to me. At one point, a teenage cousin edges closer and whispers under her bee. "Wraith. Oh my God, you're brave, I would have died in that." Her eyes flicker down and back like she is checking something forbidden. I choke out a laugh and answer that it is mostly tape and denial. The worst part is that the line does not even feel like a joke. By the time we finish the last picture, my shoulders feel bruised. I rub at the spot where the strap digs in and flinch. Jenna loops her arm through mine and leans close to my ear. "See, everyone loved it, you are getting so many looks." She sounds proud while I am trying not to pass out from being looked at. Walking back toward the main hall, I catch our reflection in a wide window. Her dress fits like a dream and looks exactly how a bride imagines. Mine beams back like a costume someone else chose for my body. I study that image for a second too long and feel vertigo. If I had known what those photos would do later, I might have ripped the zipper out right there. The music hits my chest before I even reach the doorway. I stop at the edge of the reception hall and pull the front up. It climbs maybe half an inch, then sinks right back into danger. A waiter strides past with a tray and does a fast downward glance. That one look makes me want to turn around and vanish. Jenna appears from nowhere and hooks her arm through mine again. "Stop fussing, we paid a lot for you to look like that." Her smile is wide, her fingers pinch my elbow just a little too hard. I ask if I can grab a jacket from the bridal suite upstairs. She laughs and pulls me toward the head table like I made a joke. On the way, a groomsman leans in close to my ear. "That dress is intense," he says, eyes not even near my face. My laugh comes out wrong, high and thin, like bad karaoke. He shrugs and moves off toward the bar, already scanning for someone else. I stand there for a second wondering if I imagine the whole thing. At the table, I barely sit before the bodice drags downward. I stab my napkin into my lap and plant my forearms on the edge. If I keep them there, maybe nothing shifts in the wrong direction. Across from me, another cousin nudges her partner and nods toward my torso. He follows her gaze, smirks once, then looks away like he got his show. Plates arrive and I realize I cannot lean forward to cut anything. Each time I try, the front sinks lower and my pulse jumps. I end up slicing food with my elbows locked close to my sides. I probably look like I am performing some weird etiquette experiment. No one comments, but their eyes do enough on their own. Halfway through dinner, my phone lights up under the table with messages. My friend texted a picture from earlier, zoomed right on my cleavage. "Girl, what is this dress? Are you okay?" I stare at the screen and my face burns so hot my cheeks sting. I type back fine with shaking fingers because admitting anything feels disloyal. The DJ calls bridesmaids to the floor for some choreographed thing Jenna wanted. She waves at me from the center like a ringmaster calling an act. I stand, the chair scrapes, the tape bites, and my stomach flips hard. I mumble something about fixing my makeup and head for the exit instead. No one tries to stop me, which somehow stings more than it should. Near the bar, a drunk uncle type blocks my path with raised glass. "You are braver than the bride in that number," he grins. I force a tight smile and step around him, shoulders stiff against his stare. He spins to watch me leave, I can feel his eyes following. That sensation stays stuck on my skin long after I clear the crowd. I almost make it to the hallway when a server collides with my side. The tray tilts, liquid flies, and cold bubbles soak my bodice. The fabric goes heavy and clings to every curve like plastic wrap. People gasp and a few laugh, because of course they do. I grab the front with both hands and bolt for the nearest restroom. Inside, the door swings shut behind me with a loud echoing thud. I lunge for the mirror and see everything stuck to me like paint. The damp patches outline more than they hide, and my stomach lurches. I yank paper towels and start blotting, my movements jerky and frantic. Every dab feels useless, while my reflection just looks more panicked. My hands shake so badly I drop half the stack on the floor. I lean over the sink to catch my breath and feel the neckline drag. One soaked strip of tape slides free and curls against my skin. I freeze in that bent position, aware of exactly what might be visible. Writing this now, I can still feel that mix of anger and shame. My phone buzzes again and again in the small clutch by the faucet. I pull it out and see new notifications from the wedding group chat. Someone posted a live shot from the reception, me in the background. Even blurry, you can tell exactly where people are looking. My thumb hovers over the screen while my throat tightens. A knock lands on the door, sharp and impatient, not polite at all. "Aaron, what are you doing? They need us on the dance floor." Jenna rattles the handle like she owns the entire building. I swallow and answer that I spilled champagne and need 5 minutes. Her sigh carries straight through the wood like a personal accusation. "Are you kidding? You're making this about you again." Her words hit harder than the collision with the server did. I stare at my reflection, at the trembling shoulders, at the sticky fabric. I know if I open the door right now, I will fold. The part of me that wants peace almost reaches for the lock. Instead, I slide the bolt fully into place and step back. I am not coming out until this is fixed. My voice shakes, but the sentence lands solid in the quiet room. There is a pause outside, just breathing and muffled music from the hall. Then her tone changes and gets sharper, colder, calculated. "You are being ridiculous. People are talking. They think you are sulking." I picture relatives whispering at the tables, wondering what drama I started. The old people will assume I am overly sensitive. The younger ones will gossip. Part of me wants to explain every feeling I have in detail. Another part knows she would twist each one into proof I am selfish. I peel another strip of tape away and feel my skin sting. The dress loosens a hair, just enough that I can inhale. The relief is so strong that I have to grip the sink. In that tiny pocket of air, I realize how trapped I was earlier. That realization comes with an ugly wave of guilt for ignoring my instincts. Outside, Jenna knocks again, harder this time, like a warning. "If you ruin my first dance photos, I will never forgive you." Her words are flat, no laughing bride tone left, just threat. I picture her in 10 years retelling this as the day I sabotaged everything. I also picture myself standing next to her, still swallowing the same excuses. I twist one strap off my shoulder and check the damage underneath. Red marks line my skin where the fabric dug in for hours. Seeing those dents makes something snap that all the comments did not. This is not me being dramatic, this is my body literally marked up. That detail, more than any stare, finally pushes me past polite. I grab my phone and fire off a quick text to my boyfriend. "Your sister put me in a dress that basically exposes me." I add, "I am hiding in the bathroom," and she is furious. 3 dots appear, then vanish, then appear again like he cannot decide. The silence between those dots feels longer than the whole ceremony. Another bridesmaid slips in after knocking softly and calling my name. She closes the door behind her, and her eyes go wide at my chest. "Whoa, I thought you were exaggerating, that is a lot." Hearing that from someone in the same lineup hits me in a new way. If even she thinks it crosses a line, maybe I am not insane. She offers to run upstairs and find anything, a scarf, a shawl, something. For a second, hope flares so bright I almost cry in front of her. Then her phone buzzes and she glances down, face tightening. Jenna says nobody covers the bridesmaid dresses, it will ruin the photos. My little burst of hope pops like a balloon in a crowded room. I tell her to go back so Jenna has at least one ally. She hesitates, says I can stay here as long as I need. I nod and thank her, even though gratitude feels misplaced toward everyone tonight. When she leaves, the door closes gentler than before, but still locks me in. The quiet that follows makes the music outside sound even louder. Alone again, I draft and erase 3 separate apology texts to Jenna. Each version tries to make my discomfort sound smaller, more acceptable, safer. Each one also makes me feel like I am gaslighting myself on purpose. I finally set the phone down and press my hands flat on the counter. Right there is the moment I realize walking back out as I am would mean agreeing that my body is public property. I do not know yet about the photos that will spread around later. I do not know yet that this stupid dress will become a family legend. All I know in that bathroom is simple and ugly and true. I am not just embarrassed anymore, I am humiliated and angry and cornered. And the night is barely halfway over when I decide I am done playing along. My phone vibrates itself off the nightstand and hits the floor. I roll over, chest aching from yesterday, and fumble for it blindly. The screen lights my face as a wall of notifications pours in. Every preview shows the same 3 words in a row. Wedding photos uploaded. I unlock the screen and the family thread jumps to the top. There are dozens of new messages, all stacked tight together. Little previews of pictures line the chat like a film strip. In almost every tiny thumbnail, I can already see the neckline. My throat tightens before I even open the first one. The first image loads slow, then snaps into focus all at once. It is the garden shot everyone arranged around the happy couple. My body is front row, angled toward the camera exactly how he posed. My chest fills the center of the frame like a target. Someone has already reacted with a row of flame emojis under it. I swipe to the next and my stomach gives that sick little dip. Close-up of the bridal party, same angle, more detail this time. My face looks tense, smile stretched a bit too wide for comfort. The neckline scoops down and my boobs are practically a separate guest. Underneath, my cousin has commented, "Did not expect that from Aaron." Another relative has replied with, "Bride knew what she was doing." Then a winking emoji that makes my skin crawl even through the screen. Jenna is in the thread too, answering with laughing faces and hearts. Right, she rocked that look, sits there like a slap. I feel this weird mix of embarrassment and betrayal rising together. I keep scrolling because I apparently hate myself before coffee. There is a candid at the reception where I am behind the couple. I am mid-step, arm lifted, neckline dragged down by motion. The photographer caught the exact moment everything nearly spilled out. Under that one, someone added, "Hope the priest recovered." My thumb hovers over the screen while my ears start buzzing. I know these people, they babysat me, they came to birthdays. Now they are talking about my chest like it is party entertainment. And Jenna is just in there tossing and laugh reacts like confetti. I cannot tell if I want to scream or crawl under the bed. I back out of the thread and open my social feed on autopilot. The wedding hashtag is already full, all from different angles, different cameras. Videos autoplay, short clips of the ceremony and the dancing later. In one, I am bending slightly to hug an older relative near the aisle. The comments under it are full of wow and damn and faces staring. My finger trembles while I watch myself freeze frame in that bend. It is my worst angle, exactly what I panicked about yesterday. Except now it is looped and people can replay it whenever they want. I silently close the app before I see more, but it is too late. The feeling of being screenshotted sits heavy on my chest. I flip to my messages and type out a quick note to another bridesmaid. "Hey, random question, did your dress feel tight yesterday?" I stare at the bubbles until they change to 3 dots bouncing. She replies with, "Mine was actually kind of loose, why?" There is a picture after, her dress hanging with the tag showing clear. I zoom in on the tag like it holds a secret code. Her size matches what she always wears, nothing weird, nothing forced. I drag my own dress from the pile on the chair and turn it inside out. Where hers had a neat label, mine has rough stitching and nothing else. The fabric in that spot is cut shorter, like something was removed on purpose. My tongue goes dry while I run a finger along the altered seam. There is that feeling again, the one where the film cuts in my head. I sit down on the edge of the bed and open my chat with Jenna. Earlier that week, she sent a photo of the bridesmaid measurement sheet. I scroll up until I find it and tap to enlarge it. My line has numbers next to my name that do not match reality. The bust measurement is at least 2 inches smaller than what I gave. I say that with full confidence because I remember being very clear. Under the photo there is a message from her, "Had to tweak a bit." Back then I read that as normal planning, not a warning. Seeing it now with the missing tag and the altered seam hits different. My heart rate climbs, but it is not panic this time, it is anger. The idea that this dress just ended up that revealing cracks. Another message from her sits right under it, dated from the fitting. Trust me, you will thank me when you see the pictures. I think about the garden shots again and whatever strangers will see later. I do not feel thankful, I feel exposed in a way I never agreed to. I take screenshots of the measurement photo, the comment, the family chat. My hands shake while I save them, but I still do it. If I ever try to minimize this later, I want proof. My phone starts ringing while I still have the screenshots open. Jenna's name fills the screen with the little wedding photo beside it. I let it buzz 3 times, hoping she will give up. She does not, she calls again immediately like I owe her an answer. On the second round, I hit accept before I can overthink. "While you finally pick up," comes out first, sharp and annoyed. Her voice is extra bright, which is how she sounds when she is furious. "I have been dealing with fallout from your little stunt all morning." I blink at the wall because I honestly have no idea what stunt means. She does not wait for an answer before rolling right on. "You vanished from the reception and people noticed and kept asking." Forks in phones and small talk, that was all I remember. Then. Now she describes hushed conversations and relatives wondering if I was upset. She throws in that her husband's parents were offended by the drama. Every sentence shifts last night into something I apparently staged. "I left because I was soaked and hanging out of your dress." My voice comes out steadier than I feel inside no matter what. "I did not want to flash your guests while you cut the cake." There is silence for a beat, then she actually laughs down the line. "Please, you love the attention, you barely sat down all night." That line makes my jaw clench so hard my teeth ache. I think about me hiding in the bathroom, ripping tape off skin. I think about her pounding on the door, demanding I hurry up. Apparently in her version, I was out there twirling for compliments. The gap between our realities is wide enough to walk through. "I just opened the family thread," I say, energy finally spiking up. "They are talking about my cleavage like it's a party trick." She breathes out louder like I am once again missing the point. "They are talking about how gorgeous you looked, stop being so sensitive." The word sensitive lands like an old bruise getting poked on purpose. I ask if she honestly does not see how those comments feel degrading. She launches into a speech about how women should own their bodies proudly. In theory, I agree with that. In practice, this feels nothing like that. "Nobody forced you to wear it," she adds, and that one burns. I glance at the screenshots and the altered seam laying in my lap. "You picked the size, you changed my measurements on the sheet." The words spill out faster now, like they have been waiting all along. There is no tag in mine, and the fabric was taken in. I tell her I saw the old message, the numbers that are not mine. On the other end, the line goes completely quiet for a second. She recovers with a scoff that sounds way too controlled. "You are being paranoid, the tailor adjusted things to make them uniform." I ask why my bust measurement is smaller on her copy than in reality. She says something about proportions and symmetry and how cameras distort figures. None of that answers the question, and we both know it. "You knew that dress would barely cover me, you did it anyway." I can hear my own heartbeat in my ears while I speak. Last night I could not breathe without worrying something would fall out. I remind her I asked for a wrap and she blocked me. The more I list, the less this looks like a misunderstanding. She snaps that she has enough problems without my insecurity on top. "Everyone was staring at you long before the dress, trust me." That line hits me right in the place she aimed for. Like my body existing is already a problem and the dress just highlighted it. I pinch the bridge of my nose to keep tears from falling. "You know what people are talking about right now," she pushes on. "They are saying you disappeared and made my reception about your feelings." The way she says my feelings makes it sound like a contagious disease. She drops that her mother-in-law was hurt I did not dance more. Apparently my job was to decorate the night no matter what it cost. Then comes the threat, almost casual, slipped in between fake concerns. "If you keep this up, I will rethink you being at family holidays." My chest tightens, but not from a neckline this time, from her words. She adds that she does not want drama around any future nieces or nephews. We both hear what she is really dangling there, and it is cruel. For a long stretch, neither of us speaks, only breathing crackles through. I stare at my own reflection in the black phone screen. My hair is a mess, my eyes are swollen, my chest still marked. I do not look like someone trying to steal a spotlight. I look like someone who got thrown under a bus in a strapless bodice. I am not apologizing for feeling violated in that dress. My voice drops lower, not louder, and that surprises both of us. You changed my size, you pushed a look I did not consent to. I tell her flat that I will not be the joke of her wedding. On the other end, she sucks in a breath like I slapped her. You are unbelievable, she spits, volume finally matching her real mood. I gave you a chance to shine and you are twisting it. She accuses me of being jealous of her day, jealous of attention. She circles back to how much she spent and how ungrateful I sound. Underneath all of it, I hear one clear thing: she will never admit anything. When the call ends, it is not because we resolve anything. She just throws out, "Think about what you are doing," and hangs up. The silence after is almost louder than her voice was before. I sit there with the phone pressed to my ear long after the beep. I finally lower it when my hand starts to cramp. I open the family thread again and watch new comments pop in. Someone jokes about the wedding having its own PG-13 moment. Her cousin responds with a cropped version of the garden photo. In that crop, the couple is half cut off and I am not. It is just my chest and my forced smile and a string of laughing emojis. I save that image too, even though it twists my stomach into knots. Part of me feels disgusting for keeping it, part of me feels smart. If I do not keep a record, I know I will downplay this later. I know myself, I know I will say maybe it was not that bad. Right now in this moment, I can see that it absolutely was. My screen lights up with a new message from the bridesmaid I texted earlier. "Hey, if you need to talk, I noticed some stuff too." Just that tiny admission makes the room tilt a little back towards sane. It means I am not the only person who saw what was happening. It also means this is bigger than a tight dress and a bad night. I type a slow reply, fingers hovering over every word for once. I think she set me up to be the sexy bridesmaid prop. My thumb hesitates, then I add, and I have screenshots to prove it. I hit send before I can chicken out and start editing myself again. The truth feels ugly on the screen, but it also feels finally accurate. I do not know yet that those photos will keep circulating for weeks. I do not know yet that people will still joke about them at Thanksgiving. All I know here, sitting on my unmade bed with that dress inside out, is that yesterday I felt trapped in someone else's idea of me. Today I have the receipts and a very clear choice about what comes next. My knuckles sting from hitting her doorbell 3 times in a row. For a second I consider turning around and going back to my car. Then I picture that cropped photo of my boobs with laughing emojis. I stay where I am and curl the printed pages tighter in my fist. If I walk away now, I know she wins the story. The lock clicks and the door cracks open just enough for one eye. When she sees it as me, her face goes flat, not happy bride. "Oh, you finally decided to show up." She leans on the frame like she owns the whole street and the argument. I ask if we can talk inside because I am not doing this on the porch. She hesitates just long enough to make a point, then steps back. I pass her and catch a whiff of hairspray and leftover perfume from yesterday. Her house is quiet, no music, no family, just tension sitting in the air. "Make it quick, we are going out soon," she mutters, trailing behind me. Her tone says I am already a disruption and we have not started. I stop at the kitchen table and spread the papers like a card trick. Screenshots, the measurement sheet, printouts from the group chat, everything. She raises an eyebrow, crosses her arms, studies the mess in front of her. "What is this, a court case?" she asks, fake laugh stuck in her throat. My fingers tap the picture where my front is the main attraction. This is me in your dress turned into a joke for everyone. My voice shakes once then steadies, which surprises me more than her. "You pushed that cut, you tweaked my numbers, you refused any cover." I slide the screenshot with the wrong bust size toward her side of the table. Her eyes flicker when she recognizes the note about changing my measurements. She picks up that page between 2 fingers like it might stain her. "I already told you," the tailor adjusted things so it would photograph right. Her shoulders lift in a shrug that looks rehearsed, not casual. You are acting like I sent you out naked, she adds, rolling her eyes. My hand moves before my brain, and I yank my neckline down a little. Red lines still mark where the fabric dug into my skin all night. I pull the top aside just enough to show the worst of the grooves. Her gaze lands there for a second, then jumps back to my face. Wow, dramatic, she says, but her voice has lost some confidence. Temporary marks, you will be fine. People wear shapewear all the time. Shapewear is chosen, this was forced on me, I shoot back, pulse racing. I told you it was too much, you ignored me, you locked me in that role. I tap the print from the thread where my chest is center, and people joke. They are not complimenting me, they are laughing at me like I am scenery. Saying it out loud makes my stomach flip, but also feels accurate. She snatches that page and reads the comments, jaw tightening as she scans. They are just messing around, nobody means anything by it, she insists. She drops the paper and points at a line where she put laughing emojis. Everyone jokes, it is how our family is, you know that. Her eyes dare me to disagree with the way things have always been. They are joking about my body, not my dress, I tell her. I did not agree to be the centerfold of your wedding album. I flip to the screenshot where she wrote about making me pop in pictures. You wrote this, you admitted you adjusted my size for the camera. Her lips press together and for a second she has nothing to throw. W back. When she finally speaks, her tone drops into that cold, reasonable register. You always complain you feel invisible at events, people finally noticed you. She gestures toward the pile like it proves her point instead of mine. I gave you a chance to feel hot, and now you are crying victim. That word victim stings more than any of the gross comments online. I lean forward, hands flat, pages crinkling under my palms. I wanted to feel comfortable, not like my boobs were party favors. I tell her about hiding in the restroom, ripping tape off my skin. I describe the waiter spill, the uncle comment, the teenage cousin whisper. None of that had made it into our last phone call, she never asked. Her expression does not soften, it hardens like each thing I share is ammo. You are grown, you could have refused to wear it at any point. She taps her temple like the idea is obvious and I missed it. You care more about looking good than you admit, Aaron, she adds. She acts like she knows me better than I know myself, and it hurts. Refusing would have meant a blow-up before your ceremony, I answer. You count on people not wanting to ruin the mood, you weaponize that. The word weaponize sounds heavy even in my own ears, but it fits. She straightens and laughs once, sharp and humorless, shaking her head. You think I orchestrated a cleavage conspiracy on my wedding day. I do not say yes immediately, which probably says everything on its own. Instead, I point at the measurement sheet again, at the smaller bust line. You changed this before the tailor ever saw it, that is not accidental. I remind her she refused every suggestion of a wrap, a jacket, any coverage. One detail on its own could be nothing, altogether it looks deliberate. Footsteps thud down the hallway and her husband appears in the doorway. He takes in the papers, the raised voices, the tension hanging between us. Everything okay? He asks, leaning on the frame, eyes bouncing between faces. Jenna tosses her hair and gives him a tight smile that does not reach anywhere. Just bridesmaid drama, she is upset people thought she looked amazing. He looks at me for a beat, really looks, not just in my direction. I thought you looked uncomfortable, he says slowly, scratching his jaw. He glances at the screenshot near his hand and reads the caption. But yeah, some of those comments are kind of gross, he adds. That tiny bit of honesty cracks something in the perfect bride tone. She whips around on him like he just betrayed state secrets. Whose side are you on? She snaps, voice jumping an octave. He raises both hands, defensive, eyes going wide. I am on the side where we do not bully your bridesmaid, he answers. For a second I almost feel bad he is caught in the crossfire. She turns back to me, breathing faster, eyes glossy but not from sadness. You know what, this is exactly why I warned you about your attitude. She starts talking about how hard she worked on the wedding, the planning. Then jumps to how I disappeared during the party and made people talk. It is like she cannot stay on one point because none of them stick. You vanished before the bouquet toss, my mother noticed first. Her voice shakes now, more from rage than hurt, fingers digging into the chair. She thinks you were sulking because the attention was not on you anymore. The way she frames it makes my chest feel tight in a different way. In their version, I am not anxious, I am selfish and petty. I push back my chair and stand, the legs scraping against the floor. I am not towering over her or anything, but the energy shifts. I left the floor because my top was see-through and falling down. I say it slowly, full volume, so every syllable lands in that kitchen. If your mom has a problem with that, she can text me herself. Her husband clears his throat and steps away, giving us space again. He mumbles something about checking on a delivery and disappears down the hall. I know he is really just fleeing the blast zone. Honestly, I do not blame him. The air between me and Jenna feels heavy, like we are standing on opposite sides. Not of an argument anymore, but of an entire relationship. You are overreacting and blowing this out of proportion, she hurls. People will forget in a week if you stop feeding the drama. She adds that if I start confronting relatives, I will embarrass her. There it is, the real priority, not my dignity, her image. I feel something inside me click from hurt into clarity. I am not asking anyone to take down their photos, I reply. I am telling you what I need moving forward from you. My voice is oddly calm now, like it belongs to someone older. No more outfits that use my chest as decoration ever again. And no more jokes about my Lulu melons from you or anyone. Her mouth opens at the nickname, then snaps shut, remembering she started it. She looks away first, which I did not expect. CT et al. Walking in. Fine, whatever, we will pick something boring next time, she mutters. She says the word boring like it is the worst fate on earth. I would take boring over yesterday 1,000 times and still not regret it. I add one more thing because I know if I skip it now, I never will. If you repeat that I tried to steal your spotlight, I am done. Done how? She asks, eyes narrowing like she already knows the answer. I swallow and feel my heartbeat slam against my ribs once. I will not come to holidays where you keep telling that version of events. The room goes very still, the clock ticking louder than it should. You would cut yourself off from family over a dress, she asks quietly. She tries to sound shocked, but there is a challenge under it. I think about my cousins laughing at cropped pictures of my chest. I think about my future kids hearing the story of Aunt Erin the spectacle. I would rather miss dinner than sit there while you rewrite what happened. That comes out softer than my earlier lines, but firmer somehow. I tell her I love her husband, I love the rest of them. But I also love myself, and she does not belong in those jokes anymore. Using she for my own body feels weird, but it fits the distance I need. She does not answer right away, she just stares at the pile of evidence. Then she sweeps the papers into a lopsided stack and shoves them back at me. Take your printouts, I am not interested in your little case file. Her eyes are shiny now, and I cannot tell if it is fury or bruised pride. Probably both, honestly, our family is big on mixing those. I tuck the stack under my arm and walk toward the front door. She follows but stays a few steps behind, like this is some slow-motion escort. At the entryway she stops, hand on the frame, nails tapping. If you post about this online, do not use my name, she says. She already knows exactly where I will go with this, which almost scares me. I pause with my fingers on the handle, then glance back. I will not use your name, but I will tell the truth. Her mouth twists like the word truth tastes bitter. Enjoy your sympathy from strangers, she murmurs, voice low and tight. Then she adds, just remember those strangers will not be there at Christmas. Maybe that is the point, I answer, and then I step outside. The door clicks closed behind me, and the sound lands heavy in my chest. In the car, I drop the papers on the passenger seat and just breathe. My hands shake on the wheel, not from fear anymore, from adrenaline. It feels like I just crawled out of a costume that was 3 sizes too small. I text my boyfriend from the driveway because I cannot carry this alone. Just left your sister's, told her I will skip holidays if she keeps lying. The dots appear, disappear, then stay for a while. Finally his reply pops up. Did you really have to make it that extreme? I stare at the message until my eyes blur. Extreme was her resizing my chest for her big day, I type back. He responds with, she was stressed, it was one dress, let it go. That line hits me harder than I want to admit. If even he thinks it was small, maybe I am the crazy one. Another ping, this time from my aunt, breaks the spiral in my head. Your behavior at the reception upset a lot of people, her text reads. She adds, you made the bride cry, you owe her an apology. No mention of the outfit, the comments, the screenshots, just blame. It is like they all watched a different movie than the one I lived. Sitting there in my parked car, I realize something that sounds childish and true. I am not going to win this inside the family group chat ever. They already picked the version that makes their lives easiest and neatest. In that script, I am attention-seeking and prudish at the same time. Their logic actually breaks my brain if I stare at it too long. So I drive home, drop the cursed dress into a storage bin, and open my laptop. My fingers hover over the keyboard longer than they should. Then I start typing exactly what I have told you here. The neckline, the tape, the photos, the altered measurements, the threats. And the way my own partner thinks I should just swallow it to keep the peace. Posting this feels risky, like waving my dirty laundry in public. But honestly, it already got dragged through a wedding hall full of people. At least here I can tell it without someone cropping half my face out. So that is where I am now, strangers asking for a reality check. Did I blow up my relationship with my sister-in-law over nothing, or was I finally right to decide my body is not a party prop, no matter how many pretty pictures she got out of it?